and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCNTV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCNTV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCNTV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCNTV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
Cheese, where is it? Who moved that cheese? Why is it gone?
So snip it out, let's find it. Get something better and scurry along.
Go get me some of that new cheese. Go get something better. Well, who moved that cheese? Where is it? Who moved that cheese? Why is it gone?
Gonna get some.
Who moved that cheese? Where is it? Who moved that cheese? Why has it gone?
Once long ago, in a land far away, there were 4 little characters that lived in a maze.
2 were mice named Sniff and Scurry.
And 2 were little people, the size of mice. Their names were Hem and Haw.
As different as the mice and little people were, they shared one thing in common. Each morning, they put on their running shoes and raced into the maze to look for their favorite cheese. Cheese being whatever was most important to them, what nourished them and made them happy.
For Sniff and Scurry, cheese was just cheese. But for Hem and Haw, cheese was more than just having something to eat. Finding it was a way of getting what they thought they needed. To them, cheese represented having security, or good health, or material things, or whatever they believed would make them happy.
For Haw, cheese meant living in a beautiful cottage with a loving family on Cheddar Lane.
To Hem, cheese meant being a big cheese, owning a mansion atop Camembert Hill. Sniff and Scurry had good instincts. Sniff would smell out the general direction of the cheese, and Scurry would race ahead.
But Hem and Haw had complex brains with beliefs and emotions that made finding their way in the maze more complicated and challenging. Rather than trusting their instincts, they relied on guidebooks and maps to help find their way in the maze.
Greetings upon greetings upon greetings. Your head looks uneven, right? Welcome to another week. As but my lady here is going to fix her head, so that
I'm
was not
preening.
uneven.
I'm preening. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Here to Help You. So today's show is going to go quickly, but it's going to be impactful. And I want to talk about the video you just started watching. It's about a book called Who Moved Your Cheese by Spencer
Without looking.
Johnson.
Cheated. She cheated. MD, medical
MD.
doctor.
And before I go any further, I definitely want to say shout out to my team. Obviously, the Big Up Yourself, my co-host with the most.
Big up yourself.
The Rankin.
Oi.
We have our amazing, beautiful, talented production manager, Miss Selena McCallum.
How come we get them type of adjective there?
And we have our superb, hold on. resourceful intern, Jonelle Penland.
That's not bad. Big up yourself, my girl. Big up.
Thanks for all your help, guys. So let's get into this. So this book, some people find it useful, Dave. I'm going to be kind of telling the story, but I don't want to give away too much because I do want you to read it. It's not long. It's about 80 pages, I think, max.
Well, people end up reading it anyways.
People are going to read this. It's a really, really good book. And I'm going to just go through some of the things that you'll find in the book. What the book is about is it's about change. Why so many of us are afraid to change. Change is hard. And this book outlines it beautifully. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the main characters who you saw there. So Sniff, the mouse, he notices change early.
Okay,
so there's people who notice change early. There's Scurry. So Scurry moves into action as soon as he notices change happen. Good. So there's some people who are like that. Like as soon as I think I'm very much Scurry. I just, when things happen, it's like, boom, I get into like action mode because that's just how I am.
Okay.
Hem denies and resists change and fears the unexplored. I know lots of people like this. And I'm sure all of you will too as we go through this story.
Very true.
And then Hem and Ha learns to adapt in time when he sees changes and if it's going to lead to something better. So those are your 4 characters.
All right.
Now let's talk about what cheese is. Okay? So everyone is going to have a different cheese. So cheese could be a job, it can be a relationship, it can be money, it can be a big house, freedom, health, recognition, spiritual peace. For athletes, jogging, golf, basketball, like making it to the NBA, making it to the CFL, making it to NFL, soccer, a music career, becoming famous. These are all cheeses. So everyone has a different cheese. You've got to decide at the end of this what your cheese is. Okay? So some differences between Sniff and Scurry and Hem and Ha. So Sniff and Scurry act out of instinct. And even if they end up going in the wrong direction at times, it doesn't stop them from making some type of action. And which is what they did. Once they found out that they had no cheese and the cheese was moved, they're like, all right, time to move.
Right.
Hem and Ha, although they're a lot more complex than the mice are, this sometimes works against them. So they use their ability to think and learn from their past experiences. However, they rely on this complex mind to develop more sophisticated methods to find the cheese, which works against them because all they're doing is really technically overthinking everything. Okay? So sometimes they did well, and other times their powerful human beliefs and emotions take over and cloud the way that they think about things. So that's what happens to us sometimes, is instead of just making the change, we think and overthink and rethink and think some more. So as you see in the video, the 4 characters come upon a piece of cheese, each meaning something significant to all 4 of them. So the cheese meant something different to everyone. Like I was saying before, it could be anything.
Okay.
Now, they kept going back day after day until, obviously, like with anything, there was no more cheese left.
Right.
Okay? They didn't even notice that Sniff and Scurry were gone. Okay? Left them. They're still sitting here looking for cheese that's not there.
Right.
So Sniff and Scurry had already found mountains of cheese, and they did this effortlessly. And I use this picture because this is what the rat race legit looks like. We're just going and going, not even noticing that things are about to change.
Okay.
That's what this is for. Okay, that's why my pictures are very symbolic. Okay.
I've noticed.
All right. So, although again I said they keep going and going, Sniff and Scurry, they hit the wrong walls, they go the wrong way, at least they have taken action. When we come back, we're going to take another clip of that video. We're going to take a look at that, and we're going to start to delve a little bit deeper into the book and starting to see the differences between Sniff and Scurry, Hem, and Hem and Ha, because they start to see some things differently as well. Yes, so we'll see you soon on Here to Help You.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
In their own way, all 4 characters discovered what they were looking for. Eventually, each one arrived at Cheese Station C and discovered their own special cheese.
Sniff and Scurry woke early every day and ran the same route through the maze to Cheese Station C.
However, Hem and Haw woke later each day and strolled slowly over to Cheese Station C. After all, they knew where the cheese was and how to get there, and they assumed it would always be there.
This is fabulous. I'm so happy. There's enough cheese here to last us forever.
Hem and Haw put away their running shoes, thinking they wouldn't need them anymore.
They felt very secure in their familiar surroundings. Ha even decorated the walls with sayings.
Having cheese makes you happy.
Hem and Haw became very comfortable in Cheese Station C. They were not paying attention to what was happening around them.
Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry inspected the area each morning. They noticed the changes that were taking place. They kept their running shoes around their necks so they could get to them quickly whenever they needed them again.
One morning, Sniff and Scurry arrived at Cheese Station C and discovered there was no cheese. They were not caught by surprise, since they noticed the supply of cheese had been getting older and smaller. The mice did not overanalyze or complicate things. The situation had changed, so Sniff and Scurry changed. They were soon off in search of new cheese.
Later that day, Hem and Haw arrive and are startled at the sight of an empty Cheese Station C.
What? No cheese? Who moved my cheese?
Welcome back, everybody.
You know, I watched the cartoon. There's another version of this,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to, of course, this version here.
Uh-huh.
And what I do like is there are a lot of life lessons, right? And who says you can't learn from a cartoon, right?
Hello, comic books. Doesn't art reflect reality?
There you go, man.
Or imitate reality?
There you go.
Okay, so let's jump right back in. If you just joined us, welcome to Here to Help You. We are doing the book. Actually, we are picking through the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an excellent book. It is a bestseller for a reason. Short, impactful.
Yes.
So we have introduced everyone to our 4 characters, Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw.
Mm-hmm.
And when we left off, they're about to discover that things have changed. So their cheese is gone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Sniff and Scurry instinctively start to realize that the change is coming, and they prepare themselves. Meanwhile, Hem and Haw, they become complacent, and they don't realize that their cheese supply is about to run out. I put this picture up there because this happens a lot in relationships. We sometimes don't know that things are really starting to go bad until it's too late. There's that complacency that sets in.
Yes.
This is why this book is very good for a range of different topics.
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
So Hem and Haw start seeing the cheese almost as an entitlement to them. So they move their homes closer to the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The book has an interesting way of showing the change in mindset. It has the character leave notes in drawings that look like the pieces of cheese. At this point in the story, Hem and Haw have a sign that says, can we bring up our sign?
Yes, having cheese makes you happy.
There you go. I want everyone to think about the cheese in your life. What are you truly happy about? So Dave, let's talk about your cheese briefly before we go back into the book. What are you really happy about?
So many things. Of course, having this wonderful platform.
Yes.
Right? Not only just having this platform, but of course, for writing in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go pick up your latest copy of Toronto Caribbean newspaper, please.
Watch that pitch.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's my TCN. Right?
True. It's all the same.
Right? Yeah. I'll just to keep it brief by means, you know?
Yes, please.
Right?
I'm going to ask for a long
No,
time.
that's what I said. That's it.
Okay. So Hem and Ha begin to feel that they deserve the cheese, and their confidence grows into like arrogance now, right? So they have this arrogance of success, like this cheese is ours, we got it, yeah, we good. They soon become so comfortable though that they didn't even realize that their cheese source was slowly depleting.
Yeah, that happens. I can see that happening, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we get so comfortable where, like we don't understand that we have to continuously work for it.
Don't. You're going too far.
Hey.
Wait.
Keep going.
Okay. So now, all of a sudden, well, it's not really all of a sudden. Sniff and Scurry saw it, but the change happens. They go back to their place, and there's no more cheese. So, for Sniff and Scurry, their answer comes instinctively. What do they think they do, Dave? As soon as they find out there's no cheese.
Gone.
They're like, no cheese? All right, that sucks.
No problem.
Gotta go find some. You see how Sniff's nose is just all up in the air, just already looking for new cheese, all right?
For sure, right?
Now, Hem and Ha, and I know many of them in my life, they were not so prepared. So they started to become very frustrated and turn into the victims. It's not fair. Where's my cheese? Why'd they move my cheese? Who would move my cheese without telling me? Why did this happen to me?
For sure.
All of that. Okay? So Hem yelled and Ha just tuned out. Sounds like a lot of relationships I know too. If that hurt, it might be you. So this behavior is not attractive, nor is it productive. Okay? Because guess what? You arguing, you still got nothing to eat. Yeah. You got no cheese. You're still out of money. You still have no job. Your marriage is still falling apart.
Sure.
Your career is still falling apart. The cheese is going. Now what? Time for another note. So the next note that and Ha's making all these notes. The next note that goes up reads,
the more important cheese is to you, the more you want to hold on to it.
Tell me that's not true.
Amen.
Now, this can mean a person, okay? This can mean, again, a job. This could mean your career. The more important something is to you, the more you try to grab onto it and hold onto it for dear life.
Very true.
The problem with that, change is inevitable. Everything is transient. You have no control over change. It's gonna happen. So you can do one of two things. You can be Sniff and Scurry, deal with the change. You could be Hem and Ha, who kind of, as we're gonna see in the next segment, take a little bit longer
to make the change.
To make that change, right? Actually, before we go to break, I'm gonna put something out to everyone who's watching. Where do you think you fall with these four characters? Which out of the four do you think you are? Sniff? Scurry, is that your stomach? You hungry?
Yes.
Jesus, I just fed you. Sniff, Scurry, Hem, or Ha. Dave, really quickly before I go on break, who do you think you are? Okay, I'll ask you first, then I'll say something.
Do you want to say something now?
No.
Are you sure?
I said you guys.
Okay. Well, I could Ha, and I could Hem. Right? I know you want to say something anyway, so go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You are a Ha-er.
Go ahead.
You are so resistant to change. You are the most resistant person to change. I know. One of. My mother is another Ha-er. Is Ha-er way the proper way to say it?
I'm not sure.
My dad's a Hemmer. Yeah, my dad hems a lot. He takes a while. He's like, all right. Me, I'm a combination of Scurry, Hem, and on certain things, I'm Ha.
Isn't that everybody, though?
I think it is a lot of people. But I think, again, with everything else, just like personality traits and stuff like that, you have more of the other, depending on the year, depending on your time, depending on your journey.
There you go.
But for me, I think most predominantly right now, I'm definitely a Hemmer.
Okay.
I hem. I'll see things I have, and I'm like, I don't want to. Okay, fine. And then I just kind of move out. So I'm not afraid.
That's our morning sessions, family.
What?
What you just went there.
What?
I don't want to. Okay, fine. I'll do it.
What morning session?
Yes, our morning training sessions. Yes.
Oh, because you're mean when you're working out.
No,
You're a horrible trainer. You make me do things I don't want to do. Anyhow,
there you go.
when we get back, we're going to go a little bit further into the story. We're going to see what happens with our hemmers and hars here on Here to Help You. So much same H. See you guys soon.
Yo, this is Conscience, and you're watching MyTCNTV network. Peace.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
It's not fair.
What'll happen if the cheese isn't here tomorrow? All my plans are based on the cheese being here.
Hem's and Haw's behavior was not very attractive and kept them from succeeding, but it was understandable. Finding cheese wasn't easy, and it meant a great deal more to them than just having enough of it to eat every day.
While Sniff and Scurry had changed, Hem and Haw continued to, well, hem and haw.
Hem? Where's Sniff and Scurry? Do you think they know something we don't?
Nah, they're just simple mice. We're little people. We're more complex and smarter. We're entitled to our cheese.
We don't seem to be acting smarter at the moment. Sniff and Scurry are probably in the maze looking for new cheese. Maybe we should simply get going and look for some new cheese too.
No, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I want things to be just the way.
Why you mean?
Do not. Do not.
Dave is upset because he's a...
Do not. Do not. That's not the truth. Hush.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome
in the
to...
camera. In the camera.
Welcome to...
Stop playing with me.
Okay, I'll stop. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to... Who moved my cheese? Who moved your cheese? Dave?
The dog did.
The dog moved your cheese?
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible thing. So,
it is.
If you're just joining us, guys, welcome back to a very interesting show on change. We're just presenting it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to present things differently because it'll hit someone's ear a different way, and then they'll sink in. So we're using this way. I've talked about change before, but we thought we'd use this approach and see what works. Okay? So, if you watch the video, you have now been introduced to just two characters. You should go back and look at the other two, Sniff and Scurry.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, Hem and Haw are complaining. Okay, they're denying the fact that this change has happened. It is Haw that begins to believe that there's something else out there. There's actually cheese beyond where they are. So now he's starting to think, maybe this is not the only thing. Maybe this is not my only job. Maybe this is not the only career. Maybe this is not the only man. Maybe this is not the only woman. Right? There might be more out there for me.
Right.
So even though he knows this, they still don't do too much about it. So they keep doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Each day they have less energy and they become more irritable. Think about that with people you know who are in positions that they don't really like.
Right.
Right? They've had difficulty sleeping. They're starting to have difficulty sleeping now. They're having nightmares about not having cheese. But they still do nothing new to change their situation.
Right.
So at one point, they even dig a hole in the space that the cheese was, hoping that they could see more cheese. So they work hard doing this, okay?
Yeah, I can see why.
So remember again, you're in a situation and you think that just doing more is going to help that, when sometimes what's happening is that there's a change happening, which means you've got to change.
Right.
Okay? So Finally, Haas started to see that there was a difference between activity and productivity.
There you go.
Very important. There's a huge difference between activity and productivity, okay? You could be doing a whole bunch of actions and doing nothing.
True.
And I know a lot of people do that too.
So do I.
Okay, so I was one of them. So I'm calling myself out as well. We keep doing the same thing over and over again and wondering why things are not working out. If this wasn't so ridiculous, it'd be kind of funny, okay? Because a lot of us do that. We're like, it's not working. Why is my life not? I'm always getting the same guys. Why am I? Oh, I see women on. I can't find a man. I need a man. Maybe, boo-boo. Maybe you need to do something different, like not post that on Facebook. Just saying. So now, Pa's starting to think a little differently, and he's like, where am I going to find my cheese in this maze? Now he's starting to think outside of himself. Like, there might be something else to life than me just sitting down here complaining, okay? So he starts to use his imagination to paint the most believable picture he could with these ideas.
Right.
So for people, it could be a new home, like this home right here. So he's starting to picture what his new cheese looks like. It could be a new relationship.
Okay.
I'm in love. I can actually be in love instead of, oh, I'll never find a person. It's never going to happen for me. I'm with this guy and this is the best that I can do. I'm with this girl and this is the best that I can do. It's never the end.
True.
Okay? Another thing he started to visualize even is like for people who are like, I need a vacation. I can't get away. I need to get away. I have to get away. Visualization. He started to see cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Different cheeses.
There you go.
Okay, so now he starts to try to convince his brethren. So he's like, sometimes things change, guys. Like maybe things are just not working. Maybe the cheese is not coming back. So I think we might need to move on. Mm-hmm. And now he draws another note. So Ha is starting to leave. Another thing I want you to notice, and we're going to leave this up here for a second. Ha is writing things down.
I noticed that in the cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Ha is writing things down. How many times have we been told to write down our goals? And some of us don't do it.
Yes.
And we wonder why things are not changing. You know why you're not seeing that you need to make a change? Because you're not actually seeing it. Like you need to sometimes write down where you're at to see that maybe this is not where I need to be.
True.
So what is his next note, Dave?
If you do not change, you can become extinct.
So here, Hem is still wondering, who moved my cheese? Ha is in a different place now, though. He's starting to think, why didn't I get up and move with the cheese sooner? So you're starting to see now, Hem's starting to move, not Hem, Ha is starting to move away from this stuck place that he's in. Hem's still there with his trashy hair. But Ha is like, So Ha draws another note. And what does his next note say?
What would you do if you weren't afraid?
So, Dave, what would you do if you weren't afraid?
I definitely wouldn't be afraid.
No, that's not an answer, Dave. You're trying to run. What would you do if you were not afraid?
I'd do other things.
Like what?
Well, simply, you'd be able to go after your goals. You would.
What kind of vague answers?
But you would. You would. You definitely would.
You're
Wouldn't
just giving
you?
a vague. You.
What do you mean?
What would you do? You specifically, not a generic answer.
But
you're
asking me generically.
So I'm done with Dave now. Okay, so Ha reluctantly leaves Hem behind and sets out to find new cheese. As he goes out into the maze, he realizes that the terrain has changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. So something I want to bring up here, guys, there's going to be times in your life that you have to leave people behind. It's so hard because some of these people are your friends who you've grown up with all your life. Oh, that's my brethren. Guy, I've known him since high school. I've known him since the block, since Rex. I've known these people forever. Well, they're hemming. So you may have to just leave them behind. What's the problem?
You got something to say. I see.
And as he leaves them behind, Mr. Ha, he starts to realize that things have changed. And obviously this is the fear because you're walking into an unknown. You're like, what is this going to look like outside of my comfort zone? It gets a little bit scary. And things do change, especially in this day and age, going into 2020. with the way technology is, everything looks different out there.
It changes every day.
Dating looks different. With all this Tinder and Swinder and whatever else they use to hook up with people. So things get tough for him. He feels like he's taking one step forward sometimes and like 10 steps back. And as frustrating as it is, when he's in these moments where it's like, oh my God, I just want to give up, guess what he starts doing again? Very important technique, and I do it all the time. He begins to visualize what cheese, all this cheese, the brie, and the blue cheese, and the Gouda, all this different type of cheese. He starts to imagine. So again, how does that look for some people? For some people, this cheese could be success. Okay? This cheese could be, again, vacationing, getting the heck out of here, going away to where the water is blue and the sand is white. And for some people, again, for him, it could have been money for some people.
Right.
So even visualizing a lot of money, these are all different cheeses. This is what Ha was starting to do, especially when he was getting frustrated. So whenever he started to get discouraged, he reminded himself about why he was doing it. He was taking control rather than just letting things happen to him. He begins to reflect back to the earlier part of his journey, and he realizes now that this beloved cheese that he had actually start to taste really bad. And he didn't want to admit it. Again, how many of us are in situations where we know it should probably be done, but we stay there because we are afraid to change? So again, this book brings certain things out that I want people to identify. It's going to hit everybody differently, but however it hits you, that's where you need to make your change. So he decided he's going to stay a little bit more alert next time. And he's actually going to start trusting his instincts, just like Sniff and Scurry, so that when things happen, he can move. So he leaves another note. What is his next note, Dave?
Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old.
Yes. Check in. Check in with yourself. Check in with your life. Check in with how you feel when you're around people. Check in with how you feel when you go to your job. Check in on how you feel when you're on, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Check in to see if it's time to make a change. So Ha would get discouraged because he would find other cheese stations, but they would be empty. So again, if we're talking about a relationship, you may leave a relationship and be like, okay, that's done. Go into another one and it's like, this is disappointing. Or for the people I know who are dating madly right now, and it's like, oh my God, like there are no men out here. First of all, don't say that, because if you say that, there's not going to be any men for you. Or for the men who are like, all these girls are wastes. Don't say that, because if you say that, all the girls are going to be wastes. So you have to be very mindful of your words as well.
Yes.
So he leaves another note. Read for me, please.
Sure thing. Movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese.
So Ha starts to let go and trust what was meant for him, even though he could not physically see it. So he begins to actually trust. And he leaves another note. So these are all notes he's just leaving behind. What is the next note?
When you stop being afraid, you feel good.
He has energy now. He has all this energy. He's not afraid anymore. He's moving. So one more note. Actually, is there one more note or two more notes? There's a few more notes. Let's do those quickly, and then we're going to go into our last segment to kind of wrap things up. So he leaves another note.
So imagine yourself enjoying your new cheese, leads you to it.
That visualization.
Uh-huh.
The next note.
The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese.
Letting go of things. Again, difficult task, but so necessary. You've got to let go of people. You've got to let go of things that are not serving you in order for new things to come into your life. So it's not what I'm used to. I want my old cheese back. So guess who was saying this? Just guess. Who was saying I want my old cheese back?
Hem.
So Ha had actually found some new cheese, and he brought it back to his friend, because that's what good friends do.
Yes.
So that sometimes you'll have good information, and you bring it back to a brethren, and your brethren's like, yeah, but no, I want my life to be the way it is. I want the way things were, and I'm not going to change. So this was very disheartening for him. But guess what? He realized he couldn't stay there. So he leaves again and leaves another note.
It is safer to search in the maze than remain in a cheeseless situation.
Tell me that that's not the truth.
Amen.
Right? Instead of being where Hem wasn't moving, wasn't doing anything to make any changes in his life, he was like, bump this, I'm out. I'm going to go back into the maze even though it's scary. I've run against hard walls. I've been rejected. The situation didn't work out for me. I'm still going to go there and see if I can find my cheese. When we get into this last segment, we're going to kind of tie everything up really nicely. And I'm going to encourage everyone to leave a message or a comment in the comment box below talking about maybe some of the changes, the problems you've had and things you've had to change, situations you've had to go through, challenges you've had to go through to make certain changes. When we come back, we'll tie it up and finish off our last little bit about who moved your cheese on Here to Help You. See you guys soon.
World-famous spiritual astrologer and psychic Pandit Sai is born to serve people. He's an expert on palmistry and horoscope. He can handle all problems and give Vedic solutions for business, job, love, marriage, husband and wife problems, children, personal, and many others, including depression. He also performs pujas to clear all sorts of obstacles. Call Pandit Sai and see changes in your life now. 647-766-1419. Located at 2895 Derry Road, East Mississauga, Airport Road and Derry.
They were.
Meanwhile, Snip and Scurry moved further into the maze. They didn't think of anything else but finding new cheese.
After looking in parts of the maze where they had never been before, Snip and Scurry found the biggest store of cheese they had ever seen.
Meanwhile, Hem and Haw were still trying to figure out what was happening.
Then Haw began to imagine himself out in the maze, finding fresh new cheese. Before long, he could almost taste it.
Come on, Hem, let's go. We've got to change and enjoy something better.
No way. It might be dangerous out there in the maze. I like it here. I'm comfortable. You'll see. Someday things will be just the way they were.
Like Hem, Haw focused on what he was losing. His vision of finding new cheese and gaining something better faded.
The amount of disrespect I'll go out in this up here, sir. Wow.
What? I gave her props after, but I just let her know
that what?
That her life kind of looked like Hem's head when she first came here.
Get out of here.
Welcome back, everybody, to Here to Help You. Welcome back. We have fun. We just have to have fun. So this is our last segment. I've been asking my team here what they think. What do you think? Give us your thoughts before we finish this up, Dave. What are your thoughts on this book so far? You're going to read it?
How many questions do you want to ask me at once?
Like 4.
Are there any more?
Nope.
It just comes down to creation. That's what I take from this book. You know, if I'm going to relate it back to, of course, African spirituality, right? We're always seen as supposed to be creating and never remaining stagnant.
Yes.
Right? And this is where, of course, the visualization comes in. What do we see? What do we need to create? You know, how are we moving in the proper direction?
Yes.
Right? And this is what I take from this book.
Beautiful. This is why you're so brilliant, Dave.
Why?
Just take it.
Okay. Yes.
All right, Hemmer. You need to go talk to Janelle about how to switch from Hem to Ha.
No, actually, I'll just read the book instead, okay?
So let's go back. See, I like Ha. I appreciate Ha because you know what? He's learning on the go, and that's where we should be. Well, not everyone's going to be Sniff and Scurry. Not everyone has the ability to move off of instinct. Mm-hmm. So if you can be more like Ha, I would encourage it. But, you know, it takes time for everybody. So
there you go.
Ha now knows that what you are afraid of is never as bad as you imagine it to be.
True.
And it's so true.
Very true.
It's like, oh my God, I can't live without the person. Yeah, you can. Trust me when I tell you. You know how many man I said I couldn't live without? And somehow may I live. And I have another man. Hey, I'm just joking. Anyhow, can't live without you, babe. So
I'll remember that.
At this point in his journey through change, he realized that change is inevitable. And change actually can give you some really great surprises. So he leaves another note, naturally.
Old beliefs do not lead you to new cheese.
Old beliefs, the way you think things are supposed to be, are not going to get you what you want. You got to change how you believe. And it's hard because some of our beliefs are so ingrained in us. They've been taught to us by our parents, and parents are never wrong. Parents wrong? No. They know everything. No, they don't. Just saying. So you have to sometimes break some of those beliefs that have been drilled into your head. So Ha's new beliefs were encouraging new behaviors. He was now behaving differently than when he was sitting there at that cheeseless station, right? Because he did something, all it took him to do was one thing different. He broke through his fear and said, I'm going to this maze. It doesn't matter how dark it is, how difficult it is.
Yes.
I'm going to make this one change. So, of course, you know how this man loved leave a note. He leaves another note.
When you see that you can find and enjoy new cheese, you change course.
Yes, sir. When you realize that there's something out there that could be better for you, you're going to You mean so I don't have to be miserable? There's life after misery? There's life after misery. Okay?
There is.
Ha began to take things less seriously, and he had learned to laugh at himself. He learned the fastest way to change is to laugh at your own nonsense. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
Laugh at yourself sometimes. Like, okay, so you were doing it wrong for 10 years. Okay. Next. Okay, you're never too old to change. You can still change. Okay, you were in a bad relationship, a bad job, bankruptcy. Just everything's transient. Everything moves, but you got to change with it. That's just how life is. So he realized he had to be more like Sniff and Scurry and start actually trusting his instincts and stop overanalyzing and overcomplicating everything. Become more flexible.
Right.
A lot quicker. Okay. Finally, Hem finds the same mountain of cheese that Sniff and Scurry had. And guess where Sniff and Scurry were? They were there looking fat and plump, yamming some cheese. They're like, what took y'all so long? What took you so long? Because Hem is still looking real maga back at the cheeseless station. No food. Just because he's afraid. So he thinks back on his journey to where Hem was. And his first thought is, you know what? Maybe I should go back and find Hem now and bring him. And he stops himself. Because he realized he'd already tried that before.
Right.
So this was my biggest learning point from this book.
Okay.
As much as you may want people to change with you, sometimes that won't happen. You've got to let everyone have their own journey. That's probably the hardest thing for me because I want to help. I want to pull people through the maze. Like, just come. I'm telling you, there's a better tomorrow. You got to come. But if they're hemming, you can't.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right? You can't do anything about that. Right? Another thing I took from this section was when he reached to where Sniff and Scurry was, you have to understand, when you start to change, you're going to start leveling up. So now he was sitting there all complacent before, no cheese. Now he's at now he's at a higher level. So now Sniff and Scurry are like, yeah, brethren, come. We've told you about this from time. Y'all didn't want to do nothing. You're sitting there complaining, but look at you. Now you're at the top. Look at this. Look at all this cheese. Very important.
Very.
Okay? So Hem, he realizes, is going to have to find his own way. It's a sad thing. Your friends, you're going to have to let them be sometimes. You can't pull them with you. Just let them be. Let them discover their own journey. When they do come to you, don't just turn them away either. Like, still be there for them. But understand that, you know what? They may not want to come.
It's true.
You got to be okay with that, Dave.
Why is there an emphasis there with my name?
Because you're hemming.
No, I'm definitely not hemming. What are we hemming about?
So, even though Ha was much better now, he never stopped looking for cheese. So this is another thing. Even when you think you've made it, there's a book that Grant was telling us about, something about always staying broke. And I know that sounds weird or something, but I can't remember the name of the book exactly, but it's about keeping that broke mentality, because if you always think you're broke, well, for some people, this is not for everybody. This is not for everyone. If you are driven enough, you will always be looking. Right. Even though even though to others you may have made it,
Yes.
In your head, you've not made it. You still got to do more. And you can't get complacent. You can't be like him and Ha were and move your house closer to the cheese. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was Ha's final note, Dave?
Move with the cheese and enjoy it.
Yes. So when things change, move, do something different. Mic drop. Done.
Cool.
That's all I got. What do you think?
Interesting book.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely along the lines of like the Celestine prophecy.
Oh no, the Celestine prophecy that's a tough book to go through.
Hold on. What I mean by that is simply that the inspiration, right? Because it's a very inspiring tale.
Yes.
Right.
Great story.
The Alchemist as well is very much up there in regards to like very inspiring tales.
Yes.
Right. Definitely something that a lot of people who haven't read it yet and they find it interesting, by all means, go ahead and do so. Pick it up. You can jump online and of course and see that like the numerous of quotes that have come from the book, which are endless.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Hope you guys like the show. Definitely don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MyTCNTV network.
Mm-hmm.
We have some great shows on our platform. If you enjoyed the show, leave a comment. Again, I've been asking some questions throughout this. Who do you think you are? Sniff, scurry, hem, ha, combination of both, more of one. And just leave us your basic thoughts on what we can do and what you want to see. What do you guys want to learn? That's another thing, too. It's not just what do you want to learn for 2020?
For sure.
We have a few things lined up for you. I believe next week we're actually going to be looking at the 42 laws of Ma'at.
Oh, you're going to do them?
No, you are doing them, Dave. It's your show week.
Huh?
And we'll see you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week on Here to Help You. Coming up next is What Matters. I think they're talking about loneliness this week. It's actually a good follow-up from this.
Right, for sure.
If you're lonely, change.
The cheese.
Move your cheese. See you guys next week.
Peace and love, family.